Hi everyone, my name is Tamara Chambers, and this is Tamara Just Streamed. I'm going to be doing some remote streaming Tamara Just Saw episodes while we are under quarantine and staying at home to stay safe. And tonight, I am joined by my lovely and talented friends, Jake and Eliza. Hello, Jake and Eliza.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Wonderful, because we watched a delight of a film.
Tonight, we experienced The Hunt on streaming services. Jake, you had already seen this, but Eliza and I hadn't seen it yet.
I watched it the instant it arrived on the streaming services because I was dying to see it in the theater right before self-isolation happened or shelter in place happened. And I was still justifying to myself, okay, they're cordoning off the seats so you can only buy seats within 6 feet of each other. I can go. I had
taken a break from Tamara Just Saw, and this was going to be my first one back. I was going to start up the show again, and then all of this happened. Fitting that it still is, I guess, the first one back. I thought that it was some kind of like Hunger Games thing. I thought it was like rich people were like pitting poor people against each other. To tell you the truth, you guys you told me what this was before going in, just like a little outline of what we were getting into, and it made me so nervous because we get so much political stuff just like all day, every day. I'm like, I just don't really particularly want to watch a movie like that, but it was so fun and like so hilarious, like really funny. I think it like pokes fun at just every single person and in like a really hilarious on the nose way. Yeah. And I think it's well done. Also though, above like that part of the story, the politics part of the story, the action in this movie and the gore in this movie are like some of the best I've seen. Like, I can't remember a gory movie that's come out in the last 5 years that I liked.
It's very cartoony and outlandish in how gory it is, but it's also kind of silly. Yeah. Like, it's so gory, it's kind of silly and Evil Dead 2-ish.
Yeah. Which is, for me, like a real sweet spot for gore. Like, that's how I prefer my gore.
Yes.
I like good gore pretty much, period. But if it's got just a little, like, little catch up, a little overdone, I'm just like, yes.
The gore in the, like, maybe like 3 opening sequences, like, was largely practical. And it gets you in the frame of mind of like, oh my God, they're doing like practical effects. Like, it's all makeup effects. It's huge gags. They're burying people and putting guts everywhere. They're pulling out like, and so like later on in the movie, they start leaning more into digital blood, but you're so already programmed into the practical of it all that it doesn't bother you as much.
I really love when a character is kind of slated to be a lead character and then they immediately get knocked out and killed. I freaking love that. It's always a surprise. It's like, it's just a really bittersweet moment. Sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's sad. Last of Us, so sad. This, kind of hilarious.
Notably, like they did it in Psycho. Notably, they did it in the first Scream. You take a high-profile actor. CSI, the first episode of CSI was built around, but in this case too, it's like Drew Barrymore in Scream is a lead actress. She doesn't show up for a scene.
And they did it here too. Like
Emma
they
Roberts.
gave us high profile enough names that were like, right, here we are with our main character following along.
Dead. Yeah. Next one. Oh, okay. So she was leading us to our actual main character.
The actual.
Okay. He was leading us to our actual main character. We spend way more time with him dead. And then we drop it.
I'm just really glad that we ended up on our main character, Betty
Gilpin.
She is phenomenal.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
It's outrageous how good she is in this movie. The faces that she makes, she's like so badass, not afraid to just be like a weirdo too in her faces, which I really love. She's so good and so subtle, and like her action was just like spot on. She was obviously, they worked so hard on the choreography for this film. It was outrageously good. I want her to win an award for this.
She did this episode of WTF with Mark Maron because they're on the same show together, Glow, which like she does all of this work for the wrestling in that show, which is probably really good for this role. She talks about how like she doesn't love the fact that she's like pretty and that she can be turned into this like sex symbol, and because like what she wants is like this like she has this darkness within her, and she calls it her like her little cup of dirt that she like carries around with her. So like there's multiple points where like we're watching this movie and I'm like, Betty Gilpin really has her cup of dirt right now.
On the Marin podcast, she was like, she kept talking about how every time she's cast mainly to be a porn poodle.
Yeah.
Like they make her into this porn poodle and her tits are the size of printers and like all this stuff that she said. And she just wants to wallow in her cup of dirt. And the Hunt really let her do it, man. Yeah. The Hunt really let her do it.
I don't know why I keep coming back to like some specific faces that she makes, but she just like, because there's a lot of typical action heroes who are like really badass women who, but they are insanely sexy and like overstepped, like Lara Croft, like that kind of thing. She was not trying to be sexy in any way, shape, or form.
No.
That was very sexy, but like also like just so badass. Like I had such a crush on her in this film.
Yeah.
She's so good.
If they wanted her to be less sexy, they wouldn't have put her in that tiny, like the top did meet the pants, but barely.
Yeah.
Like,
it was like just the perfect amount to where it wasn't like, come on, guys.
Watching her on Glow, like you get used to a person's face, right?
Yeah.
The entire movie, she like put on almost like a Billy Bob Thornton underbite, like not full Sling Blade, but just a little bit. She just kind of did that the whole movie, and just like she dulled her eyes too, like to the point where she was just not a movie star.
Yeah,
but she was the lead of this crazy movie.
The reveal at the end with her was really great. The ending was just a fucking blast. It was so much fun and hilarious.
Yeah.
And that ending fight was so well choreographed.
Absolutely.
And again, like I really was a little worried that I was going to just be like, oh my God, so much like just politics. Like, let's just be a fun action movie where people are getting killed, please. And it was hilarious. Like it was a really funny.
Because the thing that they're doing too is like really caricaturing both the left and the right. They're taking the extremes and they are caricaturing the worst of all of us.
Yes.
Like, but also in a way that still like is engaging. It's not cliche. It doesn't
a really interesting line.
You don't quite know where you are or what's up, and they keep changing it up on you as you move through the story.
Yeah, I was worried that it was going to be too like we're right, you're wrong kind of deal. And it wasn't. It was hilariously poking fun at caricatures, like you said.
And it's basically like, everybody calm down. And just fucking kill each other already.
Just everyone calm down, which is definitely a stance that I feel deeply about. It's like, just chill a little bit. Above all, outside of that, which they did really well, it was just a really great action film.
Yeah.
Which is important too. Like they hit everything, I think, perfectly.
Well, it's comedy horror meets action that also had a bunch of money spent on it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see movies of this type with $15 million budgets anymore.
You know, for sure.
That's what Blumhouse is doing, right?
Well, Blumhouse usually spends less money on it unless it's like a higher profile property, like a Halloween or a this or a that. This was a Blumhouse picture, and I didn't know why they spent all the money on it initially. And I didn't know this until the end credits the first time I watched it, but it was written and produced by Damon Lindelof, who just had the Watchmen HBO series. He was the creator, one of the creators of Lost and The Hunt. I mean, I'm just such a good time with his stuff right now.
It makes me so upset and sad for some of these movies that are coming out right now, or that did, and they're getting pushed back. And I hope that this gets a good viewership.
I don't think people are really going to release movies that didn't already hit theaters. Like this hit theaters right before everybody had to stay home. Immediately before. So this movie could not catch a break. This was their only really option with it.
In a way, this isn't the same kind of precedent, but like if you look back at this year in terms of entertainment, it's going to be like the writer's strike year. Like there's going to be like this weird random desert in the middle, and people looking back will be like, what? Oh, right.
Right. That whole thing. Yeah. She deserves an Oscar nom for this. She was so good in this film. It's outrageous how good she was.
I love your enthusiasm, man. It was really fun to just watch another movie with Tamara, too. It's been a while.
It was nice for me because the last movie we watched together was such a snoozer.
Which I still have unedited on my computer. Lawrence of Arabia. We did a Tamara's Never Seen, us three. And it's quite the film.
My first Tamara's Never Seen.
This was a much more fun experience, and it was super fun watching it with you guys. This is something we should try to do more often.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a blast. Thank you so much for watching. Tamara just streamed. I wish every show that I had didn't have to have my fucking name in it, but here we are. This is what I've chosen for myself. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.